Beans and Cornbread.
Before we dive in, here's your required disclaimer. This podcast uses satire and dark humor to discuss very real and very messed up events. We roast the powerful, not the powerless. We don't joke about the victims, but we will joke about the people who thought the rules didn't apply to them. Are you still with us? Good. Now let's get uncomfortable.
Good morning and welcome once again to Beans and Cornbread. I'm Kev.
I'm Jessica.
And we'd like to welcome you all to join us for a very good discussion we're going to have today. And this is episode 007, and we're going to be talking about church, state, and bedroom talk. How you doing today, Jess?
I'm doing good.
Great.
Yep, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. So why don't you kick us off?
Sure. So in this episode, we will explore the tensions between religious belief and political authority.
Okay.
And into our private lives. We'll dig into how churches to government shape what happens in our most private spaces. And we need to understand how policy, doctrine, and cultural influence our lives without even knocking on our door.
Okay.
So by passing laws, by forcing certain things, taking away rights, etc.
Sounds like a lot. So what do we want to start first?
Let's talk about church and school.
Okay.
Pro or con?
Okay.
What do you think?
It's a hard one for me because I grew up as a Baptist child. Mm-hmm. Right, my grandmother took us to church every week, not just on Sunday, and so I do see some of the moral fiber that's woven into, with the church into school setting, especially from the time that I grew up. I was born back in 71, long time ago. So I can see some of that, but I also have seen as I've gotten older how that can be detrimental to education and show sometimes one side of things, and doesn't really dig into the science that we understand in reality.
Exactly.
So that's where I'm at. I'm not sure that's what you was asking me, but
I'm a big fat con.
Okay, go ahead.
I do not think it needs to be in the schools. I grew up pre-K through 12th in a Catholic school.
Okay.
But that was a Catholic school. That was a school designated. We had religion. We had a mass every 3 months. We had nuns and priests. And, but we also had science. And from what I remember, it was a good explanation. My school was pretty, it wasn't like the archaic
Was it more liberal?
Catholic schools. No, I don't know about liberal.
Right.
I mean, I tried to be more liberal there, but yeah, I went through the whole communion classes and dressed like a little bride and did all that kind of stuff. And but when I got into my teens, I chose not to get confirmed because I started questioning everything. And plus, when you have, religion class telling you one thing and then science class telling you another thing, But also, I only had 17 people in my class, in my senior class. So we didn't have a huge diverse. We had like 2 black families. Mm-hmm. We had we had like Athabascans and stuff like that, and in different races a little bit, but we didn't have. It was mostly white,
right?
White Christian, few Jewish. I mean, it was just very vanilla, I guess, or plain. I don't know. Not vanilla.
Lack of a better term.
But
vanilla.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So there was no kind of pushback. And plus, you went to a Catholic school. You chose to do that. That's what I think. If you want religion in a school, take your kid to a private school. Okay. That's my major con. My other major con is all the religion that's being pushed on the schools is Christian.
Right, when there's a lot more.
There's a million different others, and if you're going to have the 10 Commandments up, you need to have a prayer room. You need to let the kids go pray. You know, the Muslim kids, you need to have facilities for Jewish kids. You need to have them for Hindu, for Buddhists, you know, all that kind of stuff.
And you would think that
But
would definitely make sense.
It's the nationalism that's trying to take over the country.
And as I was saying,
sorry,
you would think that would definitely make sense here in America, being a melting pot that, you know, is really stressed on how this country was built. So, yeah, why would we not be more open to that?
My thing is, you want your kid to be involved in religion, that's 100% fine. But take them to church. Take them to Sunday school. You know, do stuff off campus. But to me, religion has no business being in school.
Okay.
Like how they push the 10 Commandments and they want to do that. Okay, but you're going to let a kid go hungry because he doesn't have enough money on his tab.
Well, and the other thing is the Constitution does definitely talk about the separation of church and state.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean,
and they're always, and these people, the same people are always screaming Constitution, the Constitution, but they're the same people that are twisting it around.
Yes. Yeah.
For their agenda. And also the people that are pushing all this, they've got graveyards in their closets. I mean, nobody's perfect, but it never fails. Out comes a video of them doing the same thing that they're, you know, protest too much about.
So let me ask you this.
So it's just no business.
Let me ask you this. Do you think the wall between church and state is crumbling in modern politics?
Absolutely. And it's not genuine. If it was like for a good reason and if it was for everybody, I think a lot more people would be open to it. But the people that are doing it are so hypocritical.
Yeah, and
it's blatantly hypocritical.
Right.
That no, you can't tell me anything. You can't tell me to put 10 Commandments while we caught you on video playing around with your partner's lap in a Broadway play.
Right.
Or, you know, anything like that. Or for someone who is cheating on wives and paying off porn stars and grabbing everybody by their cooter cat is
a second coming.
Never even opened a Bible. I mean, I just don't get it. And it's just blatant. And it's discriminatory because there's other. How do you think the kids at the school are going to feel when you're just constantly pushing the 10 Commandments, pushing, you know, our God?
Yeah, when it comes to that, I started thinking about this even more, like, especially because I know part of this is bedroom talk. Like, who decides what is moral or deviant? Right, because, you know, from a religious aspect, those kind of things are decided against, like homosexuality, different things of that nature, right, from a religious aspect. So you can just assume, right, if you're using that aspect and you're taking it into the education forum, right, it's going to push it even more so. So what about those people who don't feel like you sexually or who don't participate and do the things that you do that you saying is morally the right way to do things?
That's the problem.
So you automatically are discriminating people who think differently and feel differently than you do.
Well, my thing is, and
then it is pushed, institutionalized.
Yeah. My thing is, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but if it hurts someone else, if it goes into someone else's lives and they're not doing anything wrong, I mean, unless you're diddling little kids, mind your damn business. Mind your business. Because what you believe is what you believe, but you have no business pushing that on someone else. Because who's to say, and not necessarily my belief, but who's to say God is a true God? Who's to say Christianity is a true, you know? Because every religion, they believe their God is the real God. So who...
And I guess that's the problem I have with religion overall. I don't understand religion. I do understand spiritualism.
Yeah. Organized religion is just gone to pot. It's just it's been weaponized, just like everything else. Just like the flag, just like quote patriotism or whatever you want to call it. Just it's none of your business.
And then, you know, like, because we're talking about church and state, right, and the separations of those. But now it's like the government is now deciding and weighing in on things, right? So the government influence and interference in private lives, surveillance, censorship, and even down to moral laws. We see that even more so now, just from a government aspect.
Yeah, for them, like, about the whole drag queen debacle. Not one drag queen has been accused of having a stash of pictures on their computer. But weekly, we find out one of the senators or clergy. Clergy's a big one. Mm-hmm. And they're quick to knock that down, to cover that up. But it's always the people that are promoting it, that are, making the laws, that are the worst offenders.
So let's take it a step further, especially when we're talking about sexuality, right? So let's think about how religion supplies guilt. Oh. And the purity of culture affect intimacy and sexual development.
I told you I grew up Catholic.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, think about the guilt that puts on you as you're developing sexually and what you think about things and all of that.
Yeah, it's massive. Like, not even going into, like, if you think you're gay or not as a kid. We won't even touch that one right now. But just the fact when you're growing up, you discover masturbation. It's perfectly natural. It's perfectly natural.
Even animals do that.
Everybody, every man, woman, whatever, child, and because they know it feels good. And so, oh my gosh, the guilt, especially when you have someone beating in your head that it's immoral, and the purity whole culture is insane to me, because it doesn't save them from I don't want to say promiscuous, but I mean, it can or whatever. But just like those purity balls, those things are wacko. I mean,
purity balls?
Yeah, there's a purity balls. And it's like, I think it's like in the South mostly, but it's like a debutante ball. But the father gives the daughter a ring and to promise not to have sex with anybody until she's married. I don't know. I don't even know if they do it with the guys. It's mostly girls, and she has to promise herself. But what's funny is, like, they can, like, mess around. This is not a written rule, but from what all the documentaries I've seen, because I've watched a few of them, and I've, like, on the Dollop, the podcast, they did a whole thing about it. But you can, like, mess around and do, like, backdoor stuff. But you're trying to save your actual womb, I guess. It's just creepy, and it just makes for, I'm sorry, they're going to have sex if they want to have sex. You just have to provide the information and the education. That's why I think sex education should be taught in schools. They're going to do it regardless. That's why I think you need to tell your kids about condoms. You need to tell them about STDs, because you cannot keep them from having sex if they want to have sex.
Well, that's all education too, right?
That's what I'm saying, education.
Yeah.
If they know all the things, if they know, like we've told our kids, do not accept a condom from someone else. You always use your own. So you don't want to get trapped. You don't trust nobody.
Right. And
so education is a key point, I think. We had one half an hour in school, I remember, and we had to get our parents' permission. And it was the most generic, less than G-rated. It was like, we were looking at each other like, what are we watching? It was almost like a Disney show. It was so useless. Yeah. And I know the teachers were uncomfortable. I mean, it's not fun for anybody, and for laughing kids.
Yeah. You definitely have to have the right environment,
but it's education. So it's up to the parents.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, one thing I've always said about education is if you're going to send your child to school, is for the school to reinforce what you've already taught your child.
Yeah.
not the other way around. You don't send your kid off to a school to be indoctrinated. So, okay. That's all interesting. Kind of scary, too, when you think about the future and where things are heading. Because, in this political environment, it seems like it's all about control. And if you put somebody in total control of everything, it's going to lead to even more chaos and even more issues like what we're talking about, church, state, and bedroom talk.
Yeah.
So.
It's just... there's so many subjects that we can branch off to, like, abortion.
Ooh, we want to touch that today?
I'm sure people couldn't know what I think about it.
Well, let's hear it.
I think it's bullshit.
I think we think the exact same.
I think it's absolute bullshit. I'm like, all they got rid of was safe abortions.
Yeah.
The abortions need to be...
And you have to leave the state?
Accessible.
Depending on where you're at?
Well, and then... the whole thing now, and hopefully someone listens to this and has like kids. I've told my daughter whenever you go to the doctors, for some weird reason, they ask you when's your last period. And so I've told her from now on, say it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you don't have to give a date. I said, because that shit is going to be logged up somewhere. And our daughter is not at that, she's 16, but she's not active yet. But she knows it's going to be logged in somewhere.
Yep.
And I've told her to tell her friends that because they're monitoring that now.
Yep.
It's why do you need to know my last period? It's regular. That's all you need to say is regular. But abortions need to be accessible. No one wants to have abortions. No one goes in there wanting abortions. But you got a 9-year-old currently that's pregnant from an assault. It's not about the kids. It's not about babies. It's about birth. It's about birth rates. It's about having a lower class, working class. They want us to pump out. They want us to pump out little worker bees, and be stuck in the low income and the huge difference. Because I bet you, rich people have access to abortions.
Of course,
that's 1,000%.
Well, they're rich. They got to have access to everything.
Yeah, so it's not about, because they would have free lunch at school. They would have free health care. They would have maternity leave.
Yeah.
There's so many things that they've cut off, like Head Start.
Here's the big thing for me, as a male. How can I tell you what you can and cannot do with your body if you're a female?
And the whole committee was male.
Like, I don't get
and they're
that.
old, and they have and I bet you anything, 50% have paid for abortions. I don't have the stats, but I'm just saying chances are.
Mm-hmm.
But there should be nobody.
Knowing or
there's no law. See, this is why we shouldn't have opened this. Yeah. There's no law on a male's body. Not one law passing on a male's body. Because I'll bet you for shit that if it was a male that was having a baby, it wouldn't be so restricted.
Probably right.
And if it's God's will to have a baby, it's God's will to have a limp dick. That's a little...
Okay. Well...
Period. That's all. I'm done. I'm just saying all that. I know that was a little crass, but it's the truth.
Right.
It's the truth. We're turning into Handmaid's Tale. A living version of Handmaid's Tale. And it's scary because we got daughters.
Absolutely.
And if, God forbid, one of them gets assaulted, after we go kill them...
Right.
Which, on record, I guess. But she would
not
have
talking about our daughters, by the way.
They would have to, and then now the person that assaulted him is getting rights for that child, which is mind-boggling. But yeah, it's just the whole abortion thing is about birth rates. It's about control. It's about pumping out workers, pumping out low income. That's all it is. And it's sad. It's just sad because
it's a very sad state that we live in when our government and politics is now getting into stuff where there's supposed to be a separation and is influencing our societal behaviors and changing laws to what we can and cannot do with our own bodies. and it just.
I mean, we already
it's
been through all
ridiculous.
that. It's already been through the Supreme Court. It's already been
ridiculous.
voted upon. It's already been marched on.
We're
It's
in an
already
age
been,
where laws are getting changed left and right now. So
there's been so many that have been reversed.
yeah, so
Because of this lunatic.
yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, so we'll take a break. We'll stop. I'll get off my box.
So that was church, state, and some bedroom talk. And we thank you for tuning in to the Beans and Cornbread podcast. And we'll be right back with the last 9. See you in a bit.
Doodles.
Beans and Cornbread. Hi, welcome back to Beans and Cornbread, and this is the last 9. So, Jess, I have something interesting I want to talk to you about on the last 9 today. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I want to talk about the joy of laughter.
Okay.
The joy of laughter. So, we love to laugh. We love to have good times. And just a side note, most people always remember like the bad stuff that takes place. But what about those good moments where you have a really good laugh that's almost hysterical and you can't stop laughing about it, even when you think about it a couple of days later, you just continue to laugh, and go on with that. I really enjoy those. So let's talk about that.
Okay.
So I can't remember exactly what was said. Well, the other night we was laying in the bed.
Yeah, we remember.
Well, I do remember, but it ain't PC. And so we was talking about this thing, and there was a certain amount of letters that was associated with this word. And I was like, well, every time you say this letter, it would extend your life by a year. And I kind of looked at her and I said, that's kind of stupid, huh? And we both like laughed hysterically for a while. So those kind of things.
Old man laugh.
Yeah. And then our son Julian, he's like his hilarious.
gosh.
Some of the stuff that he does. But what does laughter do for you?
Laughter just like cleanses. It's almost like crying.
Yeah.
Like a good
The
cry.
opposite effect of.
No, a good cry.
Well, it's the same
Depends.
effect almost, but it's like you
No,
feel
laughing,
differently.
especially when you get the silent old man laugh.
Oh yeah.
The wheezing.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just, there's some things. Yeah, we can't talk about some things, but like me and my friend about it was.
Yeah, the people can't see us.
I'm trying to like mime. I'm trying to mime what I was going to say. But yeah, just watching videos. Just our kids alone also.
Yeah.
Our kids are hilarious.
I'm telling you though, like more than like watching comedians or anything like that, I think the stuff that happens naturally in life is way more fun or a better experience with laughter than.
When Julian gave me that dandelion,
Yeah.
he handed me our third son. A couple years ago, he handed me a dandelion that had bald in the middle and then tufts on the side. And he's like, Mom, it's Danny DeVito.
Oh, that was hilarious.
It was the most hilarious thing in the world. I was crying. It was so funny.
Yeah. I can remember.
And
like,
I got to laugh. I got to cackle that people like, yeah.
I remember being in high school, and you know how you be in class passing notes, and this is horrible because we was making not that one. We were see, we was making fun of this girl,
Oh, see, that's wrong.
and she was big, but she was mean for whatever reason, right?
Why? Because people were making fun of her.
Well, I didn't know that at the time, and I drew her on a piece of paper.
Oh.
Right, a fat body or whatever, and I drew her, right, and I, passing those back and forth to my
put nothing on
friend.
paper.
But what I did, right between her legs, I put like a little penis,
I think I remember you talking about this.
and when I passed it to him, I saw the expression on his face when he looked at it, and we both immediately uncontrollably spit laughter in the classroom, and we was all like reading at the time, so it was definitely quiet. And man, the teacher like slammed the book and stood up, and we was trying to hold it. I'm holding my face. I think boogers are coming out of my nose. You know what I mean? And then we settled down, and then you know how it comes right back?
That hyena laugh.
It came right back,
That
man.
deep, yeah.
And we both got kicked out of the classroom.
Yeah.
But man, that was hilarious.
I remember right before band in school, we were going to do a concert. And my friend, we played the flute, and my friend was sitting on one of those fold out school tables, and she was like hopping on it or something, and she broke it. So it like crashed right in the middle, and she was holding her flute up right before we had to go on stage. Wow. And I was crying. Oh my God. And my band teacher was a lunatic anyway. She was like violent. And we had that deep hyena laugh because we were sitting right next to each other, of course. And we just ruined everything. Oh, yeah. It was so bad. It was so bad.
Yeah.
I almost quit band that day. It was so bad.
So my wife was alluding to something off camera, but I'm gonna try to explain it.
Just say it.
This is some friends of mine that was laughing hysterically, and I didn't know why. So y'all remember, like, you might not if you're not old enough, but back in the day, we used to wear the little shorts. You know, your parents would buy you little real shorts
with the white trim,
with the little white trim on them, right? And so I'm sitting on my bicycle, right, with two of my friends. It was a girl and a guy. They were brother and sister. Tommy Flowers was his name, and I think his sister's name was Becky Flowers, and I think he had a brother named Jason. So the Flower family, if you hear this is for you. And I'm sitting there on my bike, like a banana seat bicycle. That's my age, and they're like laughing hysterically. I'm not knowing what's going on. I'm thinking what I'm saying is so cool and funny because I'm making friends, and I'm living in Germany at this time, right? And I'm thinking I'm making friends, and they're like going off and laughing. And then I finally look up at their eyes, and I see the eyes dart downward. And I was like, what are they darting down at? And I look down, and my left ball is hanging out my shorts. I didn't say a word. I just turned my handlebars and I drove home.
I'd have gone off. I'd have gone off on him.
Oh my God! So
that's so funny.
So yeah, that was funny.
My brother. I mean, we had an okay child. I mean, but my brother. I have two brothers, and both of them are hilarious.
Both of them are
hilarious, but my older of the two.
Shout out to Tony and Eric.
But the one right below me, oh my God, I'll never forget when he's done so many things, but when he came out in a bathrobe, and his junk was tucked, and he started dancing like Buffalo Bill off of Silence of the Lambs.
Wow.
I will never forget that. That was so. He even said all the words, and I was like, "What am I looking at?" It was so funny. God, it was hilarious.
He has a good T-Rex too.
Oh yeah, he used to chase me like with his T-Rex arms, or when he was going bald, young. Sorry, and he had just kind of. You could tell he had to shave it, and so he always wore a hat. And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go shave my head." And I was like, okay. Well, he came back out with his hat on, but his hair. And I'm just like, what the hell? I thought you were going to shave it. And he took off his hat, and it looked like Larry off of the Three Stooges. He did, it was all nicked. That was so funny. Or when my other brother used to get a haircut and bag up the hair and then give it to Eric.
Wow.
And talk about, here you go.
I'll say this for you.
Those were good times. When we weren't fighting, those were hilarious.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
So yeah, it's the power of laughter, man. It's always a really good thing, especially when you're sharing it with loved ones and things of that nature. And I just wanted to talk about what laughter.
I think that helped when we first met.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah.
When you called up my mom, what did you do? The IRS or something, or who? No, that was your mom. Remember we used to make phone calls.
like Jerky
Captain
Boys,
Crunch? Remember Captain Crunch? Wasn't it Captain Crunch or something? Or didn't you call up your mom or something and say it was like Colonel Sant or something?
I used to do Jacob Stein from the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or you told my friend that MC Hammer was going to come up to Alaska and perform. And then preach after. She's telling people. I'm like, stop believing him.
Yeah, MC Hammer's going to come up here. He's going to perform. He's going to a church sermon.
Oh my God. That was funny.
Yeah. We have a really good restaurant story too that was funny.
What restaurant?
Flanagan's.
Oh, whatever.
I'll let you tell if you want.
I did not eat fast.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Our first date, I took my wife to a place called Flanagan's to have a steak. And I'm telling you guys, hey, they set those plates down. I started cutting my steak and I looked up and her steak was gone. And I with a straight face, like, you want another one? I could not believe
like 4 ounces.
it. No, man. Yeah, you
still talk about how fast I eat.
Bro, that was like crazy. No, you don't eat like that anymore.
No.
Then I was like, man, she ain't never had a steak. Like, what the hell?
No, I wasn't those. I'll have a salad, please. No, yeah. Man, I came to eat.
I get that, but like, you got to chew it.
I did chew it.
Yeah, okay, but anyway. You have been listening to The Last Nine on the Beans and Cornbread podcast, and we enjoy sharing our stories and time with you. So remember, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want, leave a couple of comments. We haven't heard from you, so we'd like to hear from you. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Toodles.